Hey guys, KT here for another AMD Garage. For this one, we are in West Tennessee, very close to Memphis. A buddy of mine, Ron Ryan, has got just a home shop. And yeah, we've done shop tours with Green Auto Company and high-profile custom shops, and that's wonderful, that's great. But most of us have a small shop. Most people that build these cars that use AMD parts have just a small shop, and they're doing it on their own. Ron Ryan is a classic example of that. He's built a couple of great cars, and he's just a humble guy that does really nice work. So I wanted to show you his facility and talk to him a little bit. And he's got a 71 Camaro that he's just getting started on. So I hope you enjoy this. We've got a little bit of windshield time before we get there, but we're headed to go see a cool shop. Ron, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Show me around. I can't wait to see these cars, dude.
Yeah. Well, we got the Vet. It's covered up, but it's
it's a C3?
C3 79 Vet.
Uh-huh.
It's actually all original. You can pull the cover off of it, I guess, but it's got a. I think it just hit 80,000 the last time we drove it, so it doesn't have many miles on it.
That's
I actually
cool.
got that from the original owner.
We'll come back to that, but we got some F-body here.
Yeah, right.
To
plenty
check
of
out.
it.
Yeah, for sure. So this is 71, right?
71 Camaro. Yeah. A friend of mine got it out of a barn and called me up, and actually I went to go look at the 67 and was looking at that and everything, and over in the corner he had this one. I knew my son was looking for a 71, and so my son-in-law went and got the 67, and while we were there, I got thinking, I was like, this 71 sitting over, I'll call my son Cody. So I called my son Cody and I said, hey, they got a 71 over there. You've been wanting a split bumper. And he said, yeah, get it. So we went ahead and threw it up on the trailer with the 67 and brought it home. And
well, how can you not? I mean, it's iconic. It's a great car. And you got to start somewhere with them. So this is, we got some Swiss cheese on the floors.
Yes.
There's a little bit of peekaboo right there.
Yeah.
But,
And when I first got it, I thought it was worse off than it really is, to be honest with you, because seeing it all together, I was like, what have I got myself into? But as I started tearing into it and getting up on this rotisserie and stuff, I said, well, it needs a lot of work, but that's the...
Well, they all need a lot of work. And here's the secret. Here's what people don't realize. You can get an Arizona car with original paint that's faded out. Right. It's going to need almost the same amount of work as this car from the Midwest. There's a little bit more rust repair, but all the seals are gone. The interior's rotted. Right. Your carpet's gone. Your engine, all your driveline needs gone through. They all need the same love. Unless you're going to do a Survivor or do what like Vice Grip does and pull it out of the woods and drive it for a little while. Right. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to go through one, it's all like this.
That's right.
So it's just one of those things that you just got to commit.
Right. And it's a commitment.
It is a commitment.
To see it completely through.
So you've got some pitted rust here.
Yes, that's probably the big question is this roof skin worth saving?
Right.
And I would definitely want to get up inside those.
Yeah.
Make sure I got it all out. But
to try and patch that, you may as well skin the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, it's way easier, believe it or not, to put a big giant panel on there. But your balloon assembly here, this all looks solid.
Oh yes, and I was glad to see that because when we got it, it had leaves. I mean, it was just caked with leaves and stuff, and I was really concerned. But when I got it in here and got the trim off the top of the cowl there, and saw the inside of it, I was like, oh, that's a win. Of all, that's a good win. This is replaceable. I got one of those back there. I got that from AMD.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had to do that on the 75 as well.
Yeah.
As good a shape as it was in, it had some rust up here.
Yeah. It's got some holes here.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's the great thing about a company like AMD is we make almost everything for this car.
Right. And I pretty much got everything for this car from them.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah. The only thing I haven't done is the roof skin yet, and that was because we were just trying to decide if that's. Of course, now I have you here, get your opinion on it. See if I'm thinking right.
Well, you know what they say about opinions. Oh, this, yeah. So, we got some hardware there. I may or may not have bent mine removing.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw that in the videos.
It was a moment of frustration because that happens, right?
Yeah. That's probably the only thing on this car that came off without me fighting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some. I don't know if this is an AMD part, but
I don't. I don't think that's an AMD part.
That looks like that came off somebody's metal roof or something.
Yeah,
but
well,
it's. I guess it served its purpose.
Sometimes
then we have some in there. And tell you, this floorboard, and still some exist on that driver's floorboard. It's some kind of fiberglass material.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, yeah. Somebody's laid up. We got some dirt dauber apartments there.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not sure. Maybe this maybe somebody's daily driver, and they were just trying to keep it, going.
It could be, and at least to their credit, it's galvanized patch.
That's right.
So
that's never rusted. Yeah, never rusted beyond that.
Yeah. So what's your plan with this thing?
Okay, so this is actually my grown son's car.
Yeah.
He'd always wanted one. I mean, since I guess around 15 or so, he started liking these split bumpers, and finding this one the way we did was, like I said earlier, it was just a coincidence. I was over there looking at the 67, and Steve drew that for us, and that's actually the idea, which
LSX caliber, yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at, people, are digital renderings. A good friend of ours, Steve Longacre, is a graphic artist, and he's also a car guy, and he's got a good eye for color and all that type of stuff. So I like asking Steve to give a rendering. It gives us an idea of what the car could look like.
That's right.
And this is Mr. Freeze right here.
Yeah,
this is where Ron and I first got to be friends over this car.
Yeah.
And it's sitting outside. We're going to go take a look at this bad boy because it's amazing. It's a great car.
Yeah, that's something I couldn't decide on that car was the paint. And even with Cody's, we couldn't decide on the paint. And you can visualize that stuff in your head, but until you see it, drawn out or in person.
Yeah.
And sometimes seeing those drawings or renderings before you do them.
Well, not only for me, it's a test for colors, for wheel choice, all that kind of stuff, but it's also kind of a touchstone for inspiration.
That's right.
We look at it, a car like this, it looks a long way
from that.
But you can get there. It's a way to touch the finish line without having to do all the work. So to me, it's worth doing that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I had that drawing of Freeze done probably about the time I was getting the polyester primer on the car, and I knew the colors in my head, but until I saw the drawing, I was like, yeah, that's it. Of course, he sent me several renditions of those color schemes, and I said, that's it.
Yeah.
And then, but like you said, it gives you a target to shoot for.
Yep. Yeah. And riddle me this. This is 67. I see a Firebird wheel.
Yeah, the wheels were. It's coincidental that it matches the primer, I guess. But the wheels were on the car. Yeah. But it also had Camaro. It has Camaro wheels in the front of it. But I guess whoever had it before me just put something they had on there.
This thing's in nice shape too.
It really is.
Yeah.
It needs the cowl, the sheet metal, like we were talking about on this one, on the 71. But the floorboard's good. Other than someone cut the tunnel out, I guess they were going to put a certain or maybe it had a certain transmission. We got the typical.
That's just a moisture pocket right there.
Yeah.
It's cars 5 years old have that.
Right.
So this one's
and then of course the trunk. I have to get with AMD and get some parts on this one soon. But the trunks, someone cut it out to put a fuel cell, I guess, in it. But I looked this one really well. This is actually what got me out there to look at the cars that he had, and this one was what I went there for. And that one was sitting beside it, and I went, I got to tell my son about that one. Yeah. But this is a car that I've always wanted. The first year for the Camaro, so this is one I've always wanted, and never thought I'd find one, regardless of the condition. I never thought, and then be able to afford it. So
so let's face it, the donors or the core cars are getting, 67, 89 Camaro. That's the holy grail, right?
That's
Those things they're hard to find and they're expensive when you find them. So obviously you got a good deal on this.
Yes, I got this home coincidentally, and I started looking at the cow tag. And kind of an interesting point that I like to bring up about it is my birthday is January 14th, right? So we looked at the cow tag, the VIN number, I decoded everything. This was a 327 4-speed car built the second week of January. Yeah. So it's a few years before I was born. However. It was built the second week, the same week I was born. And so I don't know, there's just a weird connection there for the car.
Are you going to put it back 327 4-speed?
I would like to.
Yeah, that would
just
be great.
because of what it was. But it's had 327 4-speed. Black. It was tuxedo black with red interior.
Really?
And I started looking at the numbers and the percentages, and it's at the time there are only so many that were made like that for that time. So
and so obviously it's been shot a couple of times.
Yeah,
it's orange in the jams. So,
yeah. I don't. That's maybe some kind of primer. I know some of the trim looks like it might have been dyed black, but when you see the gouges and the scars, some of the trim's still in it. When you can see the red still underneath it. So someone at some point in time decided to do something different with it, and it had a hopped up rear end, all this stuff in it that I wasn't going to use. So the guy that I bought the car from.
So do you think the previous history was it was raced or something?
I believe so, because it's got frame rails.
Yeah.
And but it's not twisted; it rolled straight. Other than that rear end was pretty tough to push.
You could always measure it out and stuff like that. But ironically, we think about a car that's built to race. Well, somebody's ruined that car, but it saved this car.
Yes,
and it saved it for you for the next iteration of what
whoever
it's going to be.
stored it did a decent job with it, and maybe kept it inside a shop like this or something in the back of the as opposed to the 71. I think that one probably was in a barn somewhere, maybe getting a little moisture in there. But this one, it's pretty dry. I had someone ask me the other day why we didn't start on this one first, and simply because my son wanted that one. And he's, I've got one right now, and he's wanting to join me in the next summer or two with car shows and stuff. And there's no sense in putting his on hold.
Well, this one, let's face it, this one will be there waiting for you when you're ready for it.
That's right.
And now that you've got it in the dry, you're good. You're good. It'll sit here for another 10 years until you're ready for it. So, but you saved it, you plucked it. It's a great car. It's a great car to start with, and I'm excited for this one. Yeah. And I'm looking down here. We've got the solution to the galvanized problems.
Yeah, that's I got those from AMD. Those are probably some of the first parts I got.
Yeah.
And then I started getting of course, there's the trunk over there leaned up against the wall.
There's your car. I've got a pile like this too.
Yeah. There's just metal and metal and metal back there.
Quarter panel. Another quarter panel here. And I just discovered that I need one of these. So
fenders.
Yeah.
I got both fenders because I got all this out in the barn, the fenders and stuff. But someone at some point in time tied this car to the trailer and decided to throw a strap over the fenders and pull it down that way.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, I saw that on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and the fenders are like this, and then of course the hood is where the point comes. It looks like it hit something, and someone's tried to snatch it out, and it's just so much for man hours to fix that.
Yeah.
That it would,
well, we may have some help for you on that level.
That's what I hear. Right.
Yeah. So this looks intimidating, all these boxes on the floor, but in your mind,
oh yes,
a
step at a time.
Yeah.
And a strategy.
So home shop, obviously, your background. I know your background, but tell people your background with cars.
Well, growing up, my dad was a guy who always tinkered with cars and mostly motorcycles. He's a Harley guy, so growing up around all that, I was was always around cars. Building model cars or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's something I always wanted to do. And then I became a Nissan technician, and I was at a dealership for 20 years. And so working on cars for a living isn't the same as restoring them. It's not nearly as enjoyable sometimes, but at the same time, it gave me the ability to see that you can tear a whole car apart and put it back together.
Yeah.
Not so intimidating.
Yeah.
It killed the intimidation that I had because, before starting in that field, seeing a car like this, if I'd have walked into someone's shop, I'd be like, good gosh, they're never going to get that back together.
Yeah, your gut sinks into the diaphragm, and you just want to walk away. Because this looks intimidating. You've got it's just a home shop. It's a home shop like everybody, like a million people have. But one thing that stands out, obviously you're a career technician. You know the value of tools.
Yes.
So what jumped out at me when I first walked in here is that you've invested in a rotisserie.
Yes.
And what was your explanation with that? A lot of jack stands are a lot cheaper.
Yes.
Why did you invest in a rotisserie?
Well, when I did my Camaro, the 75, I'd always see, I saw you with rotisserie on some of the projects you did. Watching the videos,
did Zed Sled in the
watching
bottom.
the videos.
Yeah.
So I decided, the next time I do one of these, I'm gonna have a rotisserie. I'm gonna be able to turn it and do what I need to do. And so when we started this one, I had it on jack stands over there, and I told my son, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get a rotisserie because I'm gonna need it for the 67 anyways.
Yep.
And I went ahead and bought it, and just already having it on here, I'm already thinking, I wish I had it when I did mine because it would, to paint it, the bottom of it, to do the metal work.
The metal work alone, my gosh. I mean, when you're doing floor pans properly, and not helping them like this, it's a game changer. And I knew the answer to your question, but I wanted you to say it out loud. And it's something that I found to be a necessary investment. I knew it wasn't going to be the last vehicle that I had upside down.
That's right.
And the ability to work flat-footed instead of on your back and welding upside down is a super challenge anyways. And like you said, the refinish process, unless you're upside down in the ditch, nobody's ever going to see the work that you did under the car.
Right.
But you're going to know that it's been done properly.
And that's important to me.
Yeah.
And you know, and also, not that I would cut corners, but being able to turn the car sideways and stuff and put yourself in a comfortable position. Yeah. And my dad, he does the welding for me. Yeah. And I want him to be comfortable because, you know, he does his best work when he's comfortable, but who doesn't? Yeah. But, you know, but I knew that doing this one, especially with all the metal, because on mine, didn't near this because my parents got that car when it was new. Oh wow! Yeah. So and my dad, he kept it in great shape. You know, it had a few, just kind of like 67, had a few little spots. Right. But nothing like this. But still, even then, I wish I had it because I tore mine down to this level. Thankfully, I didn't have all these, you know, floorboard issues. Right. But, yeah, and I haven't got the garbage Camaro on my rotisserie yet. The truth is, I let somebody borrow it, and they haven't brought it back yet. And I let them borrow it 6 years ago. so I know where it is. Yeah. And I talked to Brett the other day, and he said, "Yeah, come and get it." So it's like, oh, okay. But anyway, so it's been in storage. Yeah, it's been in storage. It literally has been. So yeah, it's an investment, but it's also an investment in doing the procedures properly. And you know, this wasn't cheap. And well, no, but and some people look at it and go, well, you know, it's a lot. I would have bought a lot of parts. Yes, but you've got to have tools, right? You've got to have. You can't paint it without a compressor and a good gun. You can't. So you've got to invest in those to, you know. And sometimes you know, taking the time off from the cars and just investing in the right tools is. Yeah, because right tool, right job. You know, it's right job, right tool. Well, you as a career technician, you know that the right tool can make you money, or save you money, or save you time, and all three of those things. Or make you look like a genius. You know, everybody's like, he can do anything. No, I have tools that can help me pull off some of this stuff. But yeah, it's and I have some other things that I'm looking at purchasing just to help out as we go along, and which is going to make the 67 so much easier because I won't be thinking about tools or certain tools I don't have, and it'll just already be here. Well, face it, if you're done with this thing in 2 years, you could probably find somebody to buy it from you. That's right. Before you give them a discount on it, get it out of your way, and recoup some of your money, but you had the tool to do the job right to start with. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so we're on the same page. Yeah. And that's a great. I'm glad I bought that. And I think actually you recommended that one. Yeah, and I think so too. The auto twirler. Yeah, it's balanceable and man, it is amazing. Now I'll tell you this. Of course, you know this, but when I first put it on there and started to tilt it, I mean, I couldn't have been any tighter. You know, I was like, you know, and then of course I've gotten used to it now, and it's not as intimidating. But. Well, once you get them balanced out, you can rotate them around with very little effort, and it's just a great tool. Yeah. So this, I saw a picture on social media with this thing. Yes. So this is your stock subframe. Yes. And there's all kinds of aftermarket subframes for this car, the F-body cars. There's the Detroit Speed stuff. It's all great equipment. Yes. And I'm not going to disparage anybody's stuff. It's DSE stuff is great. But there's also nothing wrong with this. Right. And when I did Z-Sled, I had mine down to this level and found all the factory bubble gum. Yes. And this is amazing. This looks like Stevie Wonder did these welds. Yes. But this is the factory stuff, and it's assembly line stuff. That's right. And let's face it, they were there. It's a production thing. Yes. And they're not bad welds. There's good penetration. Otherwise, the car would have fallen apart years ago. But they don't look cosmetically very good at all. So. And I did when this was still surface rust and everything. I took it down, and I was like, there was just boogers everywhere, and I cleaned those up. And until I put it in the epoxy, some of this showed up again. And I was like, oh, I need to work on that. So I'm not done with beautifying it a little bit more.
Right. So how'd you strip it down? Did you blast it or?
Yes, by hand, and then the little sandblaster over there that I got. I don't have a big one, but I got one from Harbor Freight. But did it with that. And,
so on the internet,
yes,
I was talking with some guys, and this is a solid weld until you get to here
right.
and to here, and they're spaced out. And the theory is that it's almost like a fish plate or an expansion gap in the welds, and it's designed to accommodate flex, chassis flex.
Okay, yeah.
Under deflection, steering, all that kind of stuff.
Makes sense.
And I seam welded mine.
Yes.
And I never had any cracks, and I also body worked it. It was in a magazine article, and it was like a CPP front end, and I wanted it to look nice, and we body worked it and painted it satin and all that kind of stuff.
And I got some.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna spray it, and of course I got the Holly mounts and stuff that were already painted.
Yeah.
So.
And we were talking about this before. You hardly see any of this.
That's right.
But you're going to know what it looks like, and that's one of the cool things about doing this stuff. And the fun things is you can take pictures of it as you go. If you want to show it at a car show with a photo album, people can see the work that you did too. So it's cool that you're taking it down this far. So we got Holly mount. Obviously, you're not going back. Was this a V8 car to start with?
It was. The fenders, of course, we decoded it, but the fenders even have the 350 badge on it.
Mm-hmm. And, so now we're talking. We've got a Bowler transmission. Is this a 4L80?
60.
60. Okay. So, but it's a Bowler built transmission. So it's
straight from them.
Beefed up and everything is reinforced.
I was told they dyno them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but at Jeff Hill maybe. He was telling me that they dyno them. And it pulls 800 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty nasty motor for this, but I'm not sure if we'll be pulling that kind of torque. That's a lot of torque.
Right.
But maybe we will.
Yeah. But, well, if it's got the Bowler name on it, you know it's going to be a good transmission. So what a great drivetrain. Yeah. Show me the engine.
Yeah, the engine's over here. It's still in the crate. It's the LSX.
Yeah.
Just the Chevy performance, straight from Chevy.
So this came from Pro Touring store,
yes, Pro Touring store.
Yeah.
Dale Schwartz helped me with this.
Yeah.
Got with him. Actually, he's the one that recommended the Bowler transmissions as well.
Yeah.
So,
so
definitely a good connection in Dale, which I met him through you.
Yeah. Dale's a good guy, and he's got some good options for engines. So
a lot of suspension, everything. I've been looking at a lot of stuff, even before the '67. And it's a person like a couple of these resources now that I have that I wish I'd had when we did freeze because it's good to have options.
Yeah. So you, as a mechanic, why did you opt for a crate engine instead of building one?
I
mean, you could have plucked one out of a junkyard for a few $100.
Yes.
And then gone through
and
it.
I almost did that.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things you've done with some of them. I just felt like my son wanted an LSX. He loves Corvettes. He loves the newer Camaros, and so I said, well, let's just find you one. Yeah. And of course, that's his purchase, not mine.
Right.
So I went with that, and plus it's put together. I can focus on some of the other stuff as opposed to. Now on the 327 for the 67, that might be different. I'm probably going to have to find that one.
yeah, you're going to find it. But I agree with this philosophy as well. I don't know what I'm going to reach for with my Camaro, but I don't know. I haven't made a decision yet. I know I want to go LS with it. I don't know whether I'm going to go full electronic or do a carbureted manifold or a drop-on throttle body. But I think just for the simplicity of it, I think I'm going to go with kind of the same type of thing that you've done here.
Yes. We're not sure about the induction or the ignition, all that kind of stuff yet. We haven't really gotten that far in thinking. Last night when you and I were talking, it got me thinking too, because you were saying carburetor or maybe not electronic.
Or just like a throttle body.
A throttle body, yeah. So it got me thinking. I was like, well, we haven't went that far yet. So but we'll be crossing that bridge very soon.
Yeah. Well, you got to get it all mocked up.
That's right.
Yeah, you get it in place. Very cool. Yeah. So I love the fact that you've got everything super clean. You've got lots of space here. A lot of guys have a bunch of stuff junked up in the corners. You don't have that. I mean, obviously that's your history as a technician. I think we both share that.
Yeah.
a messy, junky shop, you can't get a lot of stuff done.
I can't create in that kind of environment.
No,
that's what I feel like. So.
Interesting that you said create.
Yeah.
Because it's not an art form. People talk all the time, oh, paint and body, oh, it's an art form. No, it's not. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And it's an acquired skill that takes practice.
Yes.
And what I do is teach people how to do that. And that's how you and I ended up, we talked about, you're a paint education guy, and we ended up being friends over that.
That's right.
But, and you didn't teach yourself how to do it, but you understood that you had to do the application of it.
The process.
Anyway, yeah, the process. So it's not voodoo, it's not magic, it's an acquired skill, but it does take some discipline. And what we're seeing here is a nice clean shop. I bet you know where every single thing is in here, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. This is cool. Yeah. This actually inspires me to kick it into a little bit higher gear and get my rotisserie back.
Yeah.
Well, looks like you got a good plan. Dude, let's go see Mr. Freeze. I can't wait. I've been waiting a long time. Man, this thing looks great. Walk me around this car. You said it's a 75?
It's a 75.
Yeah.
My parents got it when it was new. I mean, it was very low miles. I think I was probably 2 or 3 years old. I mean, I was little. It's not anything special, but it's I got a small block. It's a regular 350 small block.
Yeah. But your stance is great.
Yeah, it's got the tubes upper and lower tube.
Yeah.
Tuber controls.
Is it on coil springs or coilovers?
No, it's just got it's got Hotchkiss springs, but they are lowered. The backs are Hotchkiss springs as well.
Yeah.
It's on a Moser Engineering rear end.
So your stance isn't awesome. Your wheel and tire choice is...
Yeah, those are 17s.
Okay. What's the width on them?
The backs are 11s.
Yeah.
And the fronts were 6.
So any...
That's something I studied to get it right, because I just love stances on certain cars, and when they're out of whack, it drives me nuts. So on this one, I just wanted it right, and now I feel like I nailed it.
Yeah, and everything, all your gaps are good. Where a lot of guys they'll kind of compromise on this or miss the alignment on it. You've done such a great job on this.
Thank you.
I mean, when you look at, you sight it down the side, your style lines, everything looks great, man. And you did this in that shop, right?
In that shop, yes. Yeah. In fact, I did it in the front part of the shop because I didn't have the back part of the shop. I added that addition just last year. But
and this is one of the reasons I wanted to come and see your shop and show people your shop and show people. Yes. I hope this inspires people, because this is amazing. This is really nice work, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It's earned and deserved, and this is what can be done if somebody applies themselves, does the work, goes through the process, and has the right parts to start with, obviously. But yeah, this is proof right here.
Yeah, it's going on 7 years old now, so it's held up.
Really? Because it looks new. It looks. Yeah, obviously you keep it inside, but it looks, it's in great shape, man.
But I do drive it.
Yeah?
I do drive it.
What transmission is in it?
Just the 350.
Yeah.
It's just a 350 small block with the TH350 transmission. Nothing, no powerhouse, but it goes. I got the vintage air condition, which I believe in. I've put in every car I've ever done. Yeah. Even the 280 that I did not too long ago. And
I'm a big fan of the vintage air setups. Their stuff just works.
Yes.
And their instructions are good, and their tech support, if you ever need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just do a nice job.
It's got the Denny's drive shaft. I think I said something about the Moser Engineering rear end, and I put the wheel woods on it. Yeah. The Global West lower control arms.
So you and I have gone back and forth about the bumpers on these cars. Yeah. I know you like them, and I don't dislike them at all. I think they're fine. I like the way they look, and but you've decided to. What made you want to do yours color match to the car instead of polished? Or
it helps hide them.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Okay.
Plus, and all the Z28s, of course, 75 through 70, or 75, 76 didn't have Z28. 77, they came back with the wraparound window, and then of course, like yours in 74, they had them. But all those most of those, I believe, maybe in all of the Z28s were painted.
Yeah.
So when you look at those, the bumpers almost hide themselves into the paint.
Yeah.
At least it gives it a better look. And I think the stance, and I've always liked the lower Z28 spoilers there. I think all that gives it a much more, it just helps hide the bumpers.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stay true to this one because, you know, those bumpers were used for dirt cars and everything else. So they're getting to where, you know, they're hard to find these bumpers. In fact, I know a guy that has 2 of these cars and don't have bumpers.
Yeah.
He's trying to find bumpers. So,
wow.
I don't know if he'll keep the cars, but
I might know a guy that's got a spare set of bumpers.
that's what I hear. That's what I hear. But yeah, on this one, I just wanted to keep the bumpers.
So how many paint jobs did you do before this one?
This was my first one.
Really?
Yes. Now I painted a hood on my daughter's Altima, her first car when she was 16. It's a little Altima.
Yeah.
I painted the hood on that. But this was the first one. And this is almost a snapshot of I could do so much better.
Well, we learn every time we pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what you're going to do on these other 2.
Yeah, I'm still happy with this one. I'm not embarrassed. It's won a couple car shows. It's been in the calendar, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's certainly not embarrassed by it for my first effort. Like, man, taping those stripes off and everything. I measured 75 times.
Well, of course, yeah. But your tape lines are crisp.
Yes.
Yeah. Well done, man. Let's look under the hood.
It's just a 350. It's nothing too special, but I tried to be clean with it.
Yep. It's nice and clean. So the Hotchkiss bars.
Yes. Those, you know, something I actually saw you did on Zed Sled. I guess it stiffens the front, keeps it from doing so much twisting.
Yeah, they do, and they do help.
Have too much horsepower in this one. It's not like it's going to twist it out of there, but and it looks cool. So why not?
Yeah, they look cool, and they do. You know, these cars are. It's a unibody with a subframe on the front, obviously.
Right.
We saw yours sitting on the floor, but little things like that make a big difference when it comes to if you ever want to run it around in an autocross course or something like that. And that's just fun to do.
That's right.
You know, I've become a big fan of the autocross stuff. It's low speed. You're really only racing the clock, if you're even racing at all, and it's a skill test. It's not a. It's a car test as well, but it's big fun. But those types of things, if you ever take this thing on a short course, you're going to notice that this thing stays pretty dang flat. Yeah. This is awesome, man. This is great. I'm glad I finally get to see this. We had plans of doing a photo shoot with this one at Zed Sled, and then I let the car go, and maybe this next round of Camaros that we do, we'll get a chance to get them both together.
For sure, yeah. I would have loved to have had that picture. And these headlights, those are the halo lights like you had in Zed Sled. I actually got that idea from you. They've got the multicolor.
Yeah,
halo.
that's
Tony
at Redline
That's right, Redline Lutronics.
Lutronics, that's right. I couldn't remember the name. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah.
But yeah, super clean, super nice. Yeah. Very cool.
And I think we're going to do those headlights. My son likes them a lot. I think we're going to do them in his car as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a kind of a neat thing. And you can wire them up so they're DRLs and, a little bit, let's face it, we don't want anybody to run into us on the road. And people these days are, I don't know, I'm not going to make a disparaging comment about people's driving habits. But some people are more concerned with, communication than driving these days. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, cell phones.
yeah, for sure. Well, and I'm guilty of that sometimes too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing me this. This is awesome.
I'm glad you were able to come see it. So, yeah.
All right, so this is your shop, but it's also your paint booth. So let's talk about that for a second. You painted that car. You did a great job.
Yes.
What was your strategy? Because this is important. Not everybody has a paint booth. A lot of people have home shops like this, and which is one of the reasons I wanted to come and talk to you, because you do a nice job. You did a good car in this shop, and that's where a lot of guys sit. So walk me through your paint booth, if you will.
Yeah. Well, it's temporary, and then it comes down and goes put back up. But I literally just took plastic, and I can't think of the mill of the plastic right offhand, but it's pretty good thick millage. And I stapled it to the rafters here, all the way around. And then here at the door, I pull the door down, and I have box fans with air conditioning filters behind it, kind of catching the overspray.
Right. And
then I had at that time when I painted that car, it's just a perfectly square shop, and there was a man door right there, and I had an intake fan. And and the plastic, you can kind of watch the plastic what it does. It moves in or out, according to how much intake and outtake. So I kind of get everything set up and how I like it. Yeah. And I can, by sight, watch what the air is actually doing before I start spraying.
Well, all paint requires is adequate airflow. You've got to have paint moving, whether it's waterborne or solvent-borne, it doesn't matter. You have to evacuate the overspray, obviously. Otherwise, we would enclose ourselves up in this cocoon and we wouldn't be able to see after 2 panels. But what you've done is mimicked a $50,000 spray booth as far as the airflow for a very inexpensive price, and that's where a lot of guys sit. So you said one thing before to me is you had exhaust fans and an intake fan. Why'd you do that?
To help move the air, because pulling, too much pulling, it was pulling the walls and stuff, and it was getting the stuff out or not getting out soon enough. So an intake helped the flow for me. And when I got in here, I was like, I'm either going to be brilliant or this is not going to work. So so I tried to just, like you said, mimic what you would get in the spray booth.
So my booth it's a less expensive booth, but it was still an expensive thing for me to put in. But for me, for doing the training stuff that I do, it was worth it. It was a tool investment. But it has 2 fans. It's got an intake fan and an exhaust fan, and that allows me the ability to balance the airflow and have slightly positive pressure. You did exactly the same thing. As me, maybe you didn't have a dial that you could dial in your pressure, but you created the same positive pressure environment, and it shows up in your paint job. So so there you go. You don't have to have a $50,000 spray booth to get a nice paint job. You just have to understand what the chemistry needs.
What's needed, And I've done 4 vehicles in here now with success. So. So I'm happy with it, and it's probably what we'll do again when we do the 71. I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not? Unless you want to trailer your junk down to my place.
That might be an option. But that's probably what I'll do. Is get some plastic and staple gun, and or maybe I come up with a system that's where I can just move it. I've seen some people do the kind of a shower curtain kind of thing. You know.
I've seen guys build a PVC framework and just change out the plastic every time, and they blow it apart, get their shop space back, hang it on the wall until they need to paint again.
That's right,
And so there's nothing wrong with doing that. As long as we're safe handling these chemicals.
That brings me to another point. I got the, I don't have the thing that you have, like the backpack kind of deal. But I do have a fresh air system that I've set out here, and those are the hoses for it. And it is a challenge because you're already
you're hauling 2 hoses around.
And you're already managing your air hose over your shoulder. Well, you've got this one. And of course, with me, I learned really quick when I was primering was a good test for all this stuff. Primering, how to use that. But I love it so much because it's blowing fresh air, and I don't even realize what I'm saving myself from until I go to take the mask off, and I go, "Whoa, that stuff's strong."
It is strong.
So you and it's a nice cool air, and you feel patient.
Yeah, for sure. And the biggest thing is to be safe while we're doing this is going to allow us to do it again and again and again. And it doesn't really cost all that much more. It's another tool you got to buy.
That's right.
But it's an affordable system. So so well done, man. I'm glad you're doing that.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't get shocked. Static.
Oh, with the fiberglass,
Yeah. It's got bumps and bruises. This is actually something that I believe. And you know what? You're here, so I'm going to also get you look at some stuff.
Okay.
Since you just did that blue one not too long ago. Because this fiberglass, or this paint, it's kind of dusty, so forgive that. But you'll see that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can see it in the light, but see how it's got these little cracks?
The check marks, yeah.
And it's not cracks, but it's more of a finish kind of. And I noticed that developing probably last year. And now this is original, but I do believe somebody, because this isn't original, this is not the right year for a 79.
Okay.
I believe these came on like 80 and 81s.
So it's been painted, yes?
I believe someone's done some touch-up work and maybe.
So I'm feeling around here. I'm trying to see if there's overspray lines. Can I open the door?
Yeah, if it's unlocked, yeah.
All right, so
I've been tinkering with it. So
easiest way to tell if a vehicle's been painted poorly
yeah.
is touching around here. This is where you're going to mask to get the inside and the outside. And I don't feel any overspray lines. There's no masking lines. I don't see any signs. A good painter will break it off here and then polish the tape line out of it. But I don't, unless it's been shot completely exploded.
And that is the original color.
Yeah. It's hard to hide paint buildup around places like this. I'm seeing a little bit here, but these are removable tops. They could have been repainted.
Probably been beat up and stuff.
They'll take a lot of heat. But even if it has been reshot, Ron,
yeah,
it's probably has not been stripped. So this, it could be original. Well, let's just assume it's had a respray, but it's been done well.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any reason for apologies. These screws, I don't think, Corvette guys can bust me on this, but I don't think they were painted from the factory, so somebody's probably
and I guess now that I'm looking, there is some spray in the So the good news is somebody cared about it when they did it, but the undercoats are what's failing here, and these cracking marks or check marks, obviously it's not the top coat that's doing that. Right.
So these cars were probably, it's probably a lacquer-based primer underneath there, which the technical term of those primers is thermoplastic because there's no catalyst in it. And the thermoplastic is covered up by a thermoset, which is a catalyst. So the solvent from one layer affects the other layer.
Okay.
And it starts this process which gets aggravated over time, and eventually expansion and contraction causes those dissimilar materials to move at a different rate.
Gotcha.
And then it manifests in the top layer to where you can see it at the top. Is the fiberglass cracking apart? No. It's just a layer of primer right here that it's just doing the happy dance underneath your top coat. So the solution to that, you got to sand it down. You got to sand it off and go from your substrate up, your fiberglass up, with compatible chemicals. Really, that's what it comes down to is to get rid of that, you can't fix it from the top, right? Yeah, you could probably layer clear coats up and then block it down, and it's going to come back.
Right.
But what I would do with this thing would be to drive the fire out of it.
Yes.
And just let it be what it is, which is a great car.
It runs amazing. It's got AC still.
Yeah.
All original.
Yeah.
It's an L82. I want to put another exhaust on it. The exhaust is starting to give up on its original exhaust. Right. But yeah, we jumped in this car. In fact, the whole time I was building Freeze, this was the car we enjoyed to take to car shows. Yeah. Even with the bumps and bruises. And this just developed, like I said, over the last year or so. In fact, I noticed it sitting underneath one of the lights here, and I was like, okay, am I seeing something that's not really there? And so
I know
we've had this car 14, 15 years now, so it's not like I bought it last year and something got hidden from me. Yeah. We've had it long enough that something happened.
So you can't be mad at the guy that did it.
No.
It took a long time.
And I got it from the original owner.
Yeah.
And then I took the center out right now because one of my gauges wasn't working right. So yeah. But yeah, it's bumps and bruises and all. What I like about it is an original, and like I said, the way it drives, it just drives like a great car. Yeah. And the great bumper.
So yeah, here's what happens with these bumpers too. And this is a factory polyurethane. That's the first plastic that they started to use in the 70s actually, and it went up all the way up into the 90s, where the GM products anyways. And polyurethane it's a good material. It was an inexpensive material for them to manufacture parts out of, but it's sensitive. It's funky when it comes to getting paint to stick to it. When you have that recipe correct, you have to have flexible additives in all of your paint layers, otherwise that happens. And what's happening here is this probably didn't have a flex agent in it. This takes heat anyways, but look how flexible that is, right?
Yes.
I'm moving that. So if that urethane paint or modern paint, catalyzed paint, has a certain amount of flexibility to it anyways, otherwise it would crack and peel and pop off. But with a super flexible part like that, we got to give it some help. So that's the thing there. So when you do refinish that, I'm going to suggest that you paint them separately and put flex additive in every layer. Okay. And
and they have these in fiberglass now, which I guess when they had the rubbers is back when people drove these every day or whatever. It was and so they knew if you bump something, it won't crack the whole car. Yep. But since I don't drive this like that, I might replace them with the fiberglass replacements. I don't know yet. I know the back is an original. Right. So I'm not really getting rid of an original part there. However, it's something I thought about.
Yeah, I was on the fence with Zed Sled as to what I wanted to do, but I wanted to customize my front. I wanted to put a bigger opening in the front to feed the charge cooler, because I was twin turbo on the stupid car. And so I opted for a fiberglass one, which they're not inexpensive, but it gave me the option to customize it and just do a fiberglass kind of a tune, if you will, and move things around and body work it. So yeah, I would say big thumbs up for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, great car, man.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, people don't give these the respect they deserve. You know, they're such a great looking car, and I don't know, man. It's just got a good feel to it, though.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, it really does drive. It drives very well. It'll fire up, and we can jump in it and air condition. It's just a great car.
Yeah.
I always liked them, and my wife loves them.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
She loves Corvette, so it's really her car.
Without our life partners with us, liking what we do,
that's right.
It's hard to do that. You don't want to be out here on your own. You want to have her at least embrace what you're doing. Yes. And it sounds like you and your significant other have a good relationship about these cars, and she understands your passion and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, Tracy, she's always supporting me in all these crazy ideas I come up with.
Yeah,
Believing in me.
Very cool. Well, thank you for giving me the tour of the shop, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
How do people find you? Because you post all the time on the socials.
Yeah, I don't have a website or anything, but yeah, I post things on Instagram and
so what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is Model Builder Ron.
Model Builder Ron.
Yes.
And for Facebook?
That's Instagram, and Facebook is just Ron. You know, Ron. Find me on there. Send me a friend request and.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll update, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. I know you and I have talked about that, and we just do something small. But I like sharing this stuff. But I mean, I learned from you. Most of this stuff I've learned from you on a lot of this stuff. And that's how when we did Freeze, that's how I reached out to you. Actually, kind of a real quick story on that. I reached out to you about paint.
Yeah.
And because I'd had a guy kind of do me wrong on it. And long story short, we had to go over and get the shell off the ground and put it on a trailer and bring it to my house.
Wow. Paint jail, right? Paint jail.
And I immediately got on there looking, and I was like, Kevin Tates, I know that name.
Yeah.
But look, he's painting a Camaro, and you were doing Zed Sled. And so I reached out to you, and you said, man, you can do it. This is what and then you showed me some things to get started. And and that's the results of Paintucation and all that, all the background.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning that. Here's what I say to people about Paintucation is the lessons are there.
Yes.
They're good lessons. They show the procedures. They're not the only procedure, but they're good procedures. Right. But ultimately, it's guys like you that have to apply them.
Yes.
And you have to be a student of the procedure. We have to respect the SOPs and best practice, all that type of stuff. Yes. And when you do, then you get something like Mr. Freak.
It works.
And so ultimately, I didn't paint that car. Yes. I didn't block those panels. Yes. I didn't sight it. I didn't mask you did all of that. So the credit goes to you. The lessons are out there. Sure, I'm proud of them, and I'm proud that they're out there for somebody like you. But you took it and ran with it, and
to the T, the process from. And it was great that you had just finished Zed Sled when I started on the body and paint, because it literally was a step-by-step on that same body style. Yeah. But it works for all of them. Yeah. I believe. And I'm looking forward to doing it on the 71 as well. Yeah, for sure. With a lot more knowledge and wisdom behind it this time.
Well, like I said, we get better every time we swing.
That's right.
So thanks, man. Thanks for showing us around. And check out Ron Ryan on the socials. And we're going to see a lot more from you. Because he may or may not be helping me coming to give me a hand on some of the junk that I'm working on. So.
That's right. And music. We're going to do some music.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe. So that's one thing that we both share. We got a background as professional musicians, and so we've been bench racing. We may or may not have gone out for adult beverages last night and then bench raced a couple of things. So thanks, Ron. Thanks. It's great to finally see your car in person, and thanks for showing us around.
Thanks for coming.
It's another one, AMD Garage. See you guys.
It's cool to see somebody that's motivated, that understands that it's just solving problems. It's the process of
one bite at a time. That's my biggest philosophy, is that's how we eat the elephant, and in this case, we're eating Camaros. So, hope you enjoyed Ron Ryan's shop tour. It's where a lot of us are. He's a small shop, he's just a one-man show, gets some help from friends when he needs to, and he helps friends out when he needs to as well. So thanks for watching AMD Garage. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, tell us what you want to see on these episodes, and we'll bring it to you. See you on the next one.